Welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast. If you're from the future, you know what to do. Get your ass out of here. Don't disrespect the legend. Hip Hop is here to stay. Let's get right into the business.
What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is Hip Hop Now Podcast, a podcast designed specifically to keep you caught up on all things hip-hop music and culture that happened throughout the week. Big shout out to the Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/hiphopnow. And if you would like to support in that way, visit the link in the description of this episode. But also, you can purchase merch, and they have sales all the time. Logo items, Hip Hop Now Podcast. You can rep on the beach, on the streets, in the club, at work. We got hoodies, we have t-shirts, but we also have other logo items like stickers and magnets and totes and things of that nature. That link to merchandise is also in the description of this episode. Support content creators. All right. Big shout out to hiphopdx.com, allhiphop.com, XXLmagazine.com, and a couple of places where I'm getting some of these stories from. Let's get right into the business, though. There's a new documentary on the way, y'all, and it is entitled, well, first of all, you know why, 50 years of hip hop. But it's entitled Mixtape, the movie. I'm pulling this from hiphopdx.com, and it states, Mixtape documentary starring Lil Wayne, Jadakiss, and Fabulous gets premiere date. So let's see, who is this? Okay, here I quote about the story of mixtape culture and its role in spreading hip-hop around the world. About the outlaw DJs who, for the love of the music, turned a criminal enterprise into a creative and commercial backbone of the business. Now, before I say what the release date is, and you from the future, you already saw it, get your ass out of here. But that description, as someone who grew up in the mixtape age, right? Like the mixtape, not stage, the mixtape age, from beginning to end for the most part, right? I've been there when it was DJs just mixing and blending hits and songs that were hot, to the stage of or the time when it was about exclusive music and freestyles, to the time when it was about original content as far as lyrics and whole songs, sometimes rapping over beats, but also sometimes rapping over original beats. Mixtapes have become different things over the years, and all were kind of dope when you think about it. So this documentary is interesting when they say that it's illegal, right? Because, well, it is. You can't sell a tape featuring the music or the work of an artist, even if it's one song. But it happened. So let's find out. Just in time for hip hop's 50th birthday, the documentary will arrive on Paramount Plus, which no one has, on August 1st in the US and Canada, and August 2nd in the UK, Australia, Latin America, and Brazil. That's Brazil for some of y'all. And there's an official trailer out now, so I'm going to watch the trailer. Maybe I could play the trailer for y'all. Now, y'all go watch it wherever y'all be. But it's called Mixtape, the movie, Paramount Plus. Now, I am on a 30-day Paramount Plus trial version that I think will run out by the time this is available. I hope I'm wrong about that. But if not, I'll watch it at some point. And maybe I will also review it. Or maybe I'll see if I could get an early copy for review. That's one way to do it. But it's interesting, and I think 50 years of hip hop. I do appreciate the fact that there's a lot of coverage to commemorate 50 years of hip hop, and I enjoy the diversity in coverage. If you're a person who's always been interested in hip hop in some way, shape, or form, right? Not interested in as I like it. I mean, you can hate it, but you might want to know, well, why do people like it? This year so far, as it relates to documentaries and even TV shows like the Wu-Tang joint, it's been a nice wide range of content for you to absorb to kind of get a full sense of what hip hop has meant to culture in general. Wow, it's really raining outside, y'all. I don't even think y'all can hear that. But this is just another one. I never expected maybe from Netflix, but I never expected a mixtape documentary. And saying that it features Jadakiss and Fabulous and Lil Wayne, I think is pretty dope considering all three of those individuals have like mixtape series that matter, right? In the history of it. Lil Wayne, Fabulous, and Jadakiss also come from that era of mixtapes where they have freestyles on joints. And then they also come from the era of putting out mixtapes with like either freestyles or original content. Probably Lil Wayne and which everybody knows, the Drought, Dedicated, and Fabulous too with the Soul Tape. What's the Cold Summer, whatever it's called series. They got some history, so it should be pretty dope. I'm hoping. I'm gonna tell y'all like this. There are a couple of people, especially early on, DJs, that cannot be left out. This will not be legitimate if you don't at least say their names, because the mixtape game was even more serious back in the days when it was just DJs. So you're going to hear about DJ Clue, obviously. You should hear about K Slay. You should. Even Funk Flex. Mr. C. But the names I'm talking about that need Kid Capri has to be mentioned or featured. Ron G has to be featured or mentioned. And there's a whole list of DJs who contributed during that time, right? Even DJ Envy. You know what I'm saying? We were getting them clues and them envies and them. It's a couple of people who have to. They put in work over the years. They have to. I want to say DJ EFN or FN or however you say his name. I think I remember a couple tapes. Y'all really want to dig deep? I'm gonna need y'all to name drop SNS. If you don't know who DJ SNS is, let me tell you something about that man. Some DJs talk on their mixtape and it says distraction. I'm not talking about DJ Khaled, but yeah, he's an example. But there are DJs that talk that enhance what they're doing, right? SNS was that dude. It didn't matter if he was playing exclusives. It didn't matter if he was mixing and blending records. You want to talk about this separates my listening experience from listening to an album to listening to a mixtape. SNS on there, I'll be excited. I ain't gonna front. But Clue needs a lot of love because Clue has some series. He has a couple of part ones, part twos. There's some joints on there. There's some records that are still kind of exclusive to this day. And then there's so many stories behind it, especially when the DJs were beefing. Especially that. Different beefs in hip hop played out on mixtapes first before you got diss records on the albums, right? Jadakiss and Beanie Sigel, man, you had to tune in to K Slay to get that. Eventually it found its way to everybody else, but somebody hit with it first. Ask Nas, he don't want it with Hove. I remember that. I heard that on K Slay first. Takeover wasn't even out. Blueprint wasn't even out. It was on K Slay. I don't know. I don't know who had it first, so whatever. But that's where I heard it first. So the mixtape game is instrumental in the progression and excitement at times of hip hop. I mean, I want to go listen to mixtapes now. Don't forget Doo Wop, Tony Touch. Don't forget them. Make sure they all in there. That's all I got to say. We have an update on the latest posthumous album from Tupac by the producer who of the song. Not that the whole. I don't think he does the whole album, but he's the one giving the update. The guy who produced "Keep Your Head Up." DJ Darrow. He got to be old school. DJ Darrow. Listening to DJ Darrow. Cool DJ Darrow. All right, let's see what you got to say, Playboy. So, yes, Tupac has a new album coming out. And here's a Instagram post that says, I've had unreleased Tupac vocals in my vault for some time. Who's ready to hear a new Tupac album or EP produced by me? Now, Keep Your Head Up is the joint. I love the record. I think the beat is perfect with the lyrics, but I never said not once in 50 years of hip hop, yo, who did that? Never. So when he says who wants to hear songs produced by me, I'm on the fence. I don't even know you. I don't really know his catalog of beats. Maybe if I knew some other songs, then I could say, oh yeah, okay, cool. But I will say this. I wouldn't mind hearing them if it's like these are the original beats from the early 90s. So it's going to have that vibe. I'm kind of with that because you know what? I don't think everything released now, especially when you're talking about classic vocals, has to be polished up to appeal to people or to appeal to hip hop as it stands today. And I'm not saying they would put trap beats to Tupac joint, but I kind of feel like if you gave me the context that here's records that are produced by me with Tupac back in 93, let's just say, I don't know, I forget when Tupac was in jail, but 93 is probably safe. That's exactly how I entered my listening experience. Is this is older. Let me listen. With that in mind, right? Pete Rock put like a beat compilation from beats from his MPC, you know, basically back in the days. So when I listened to it, I already knew all these beats will sound like beats from back then. And I loved it. Partly because I was around back then, but also because it gave me the context of what I was going to hear before I heard it. So with this, I kind of feel like it's the same thing. Just do that. Let me see. Let's see when is I've had. Well, no, that's the same thing. Okay, hold on. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Okay, just 1 second. The statement, which came via Tupac's only official fan page on Instagram, shared that the album will consist of previously released, released recordings from the Tupacalypse Now period to Tupac's Thug Life period, with 4 previously unreleased pre-Death Row tracks. Okay. I don't know how to feel about it. Okay, so what I'd rather have, give me the 4-track EP and tell me that this is unreleased material from this period in time. Or don't do that at all, because I don't want to skip past 7 songs I heard before with new beats that I will not care about because I like the originals, just to hear the unreleased material. Don't do that. What I'd rather you do is put out a new remastered Best of Pac, because that Best of Pac, when it came out, boy, even to this day, I'm both CDs still get played to death. Remaster that and then add these 4 songs on it. Now you're talking. Don't do no, best of that. Now I got to critique and say this is not better than the other one. And it have 4 unreleased songs, and I don't even know if the 4 unreleased songs are going to be good. You know what I mean? I don't know. So, and lastly, so recently, Tony Yayo of G Unit fame appeared on Drink Champs with Nori of Capone Noriega fan, or Noriega, or whatever you may know him from. Some people don't know that, y'all. Relax. And there was I didn't watch it. Nope. But there was a portion of that interview / conversation / argument where they debated. It's really raining, so this video is probably going to be jacked up, y'all. But they started to debate storytelling in hip hop, namely Ice Cube and Biggie. Tony Yayo said Biggie is the greatest storyteller in hip hop of all time, hands down. Anything else said is bugging, or anyone else says anything different is bugging. DJ Effin, or EFN, right, said, is that a pause thing? Whatever. Says that, nah, get out of here. Not better than Ice Cube. Now, they kind of got into back and forth that kind of was like, who's the better rapper kind of thing. But at the end of the day, I don't even think they can be compared as rappers, but they could damn sure be compared as storytellers. Now, I'm going to give you my take. You can leave your take in the comment section below, because I'd like to know what other people think as well. But disclaimer, Biggie is my favorite MC of all time, hands down. Is there some bias in there? A little bit, because it was relatable, right? Yeah, sure, he's from Brooklyn. Okay, cool, right? Sure, he's from New York. Okay, cool. But I like Biggie since I heard him on Heavy D's album, Blue Funk, on a song called Bunch of N-Words. It's a family podcast. I was interested since then. Party and Bull-ish came out. I bought the single. I think I still have it on cassette. Who's the Man soundtrack, because he was on there, and a couple other joints. Bought it. Best of Biggie by Mr. C came out. Got it. Couldn't wait for the album. Day one, Ready to Die came. I was in the store. Picked up the cassette. Later the CD. Been a Biggie fan forever. He just checked all the boxes for me as far as my entertainment value when it comes to an MC. Maybe I enjoy conscious hip hop. Maybe he wasn't that conscious, but I think he was getting there with songs like "Missing You," right? And in ways, Everyday Struggle, right? Because he may not be Juices and Berries rapping, but when you tell a story that's a cautionary tale, that's a conscious thing, right? And I like this perspective. Ice Cube's Death Certificate is my favorite album of all time. There's no competition for me, including Biggie. Death Certificate came to my life at a time where I had money in my pocket for the first time to just buy music at will. No longer needing a copy. Oh, can you dub this for me? No, I could go and buy what I want. And that was the second album I spent my money on. And I was already an NWA fan and an Ice Cube fan. And when I tell you, he had my attention from the A side to the B side, because it was a cassette, but he had my attention from beginning to end. It is to me, it's his best in his catalog, because it's the most polished and the best executed as far as skits, album, flow, topics, like unmatched. It also contains, beyond all of that, it also contains one of the greatest disc records of all time. It's in the top 3 for sure, if it's not number 1. So I know both artists very well as a fan, very well. The dope stuff and the whack stuff. I have all of it. Well, I don't have the Don Mega stuff. I kind of tapped out. But I do have Laugh Now, Cry Later, which was later, Ice Cube, and I thought it was good. But let's talk about the storytelling. Let's get right to it. And I'm going to just tell you what I think. I think it's a little unfair to compare the two, but Ice Cube's the better storyteller. And that's not to say that now Biggie is not that great at storytelling, because he is. But you gotta believe that a lot of what Ice Cube did in the game is what Biggie grew up off of. They weren't MCs at the same time, at the same peak. Ice Cube been out doing storytelling. Enough time for someone like a Biggie to absorb what he does with his stories and what works. Now, he is uniquely him, but I think the thing with Big and storytelling, and not just songs like I Got a Story to Tell where he just rap and tell the story, but I'm talking about Somebody Got to Die or What's Beef, right? Probably Somebody Got to Die more than anything, and Warning, right? Bad Boy and Puff, they were excellent at not only having him tell a story, but doing soundscaping on the record, not playing skits, but soundscaping on the record to enhance the story. Ice Cube, the majority of the time, was just telling the story. So he didn't have inflections and beats to go with the drama and a whole background thing. Like, for example, when before Life After Death came out, me and the homies, we had the bootleg copy, right, in advance. And I remember my stereo, there was something up with the wiring. So sometimes it would play a track, but you would only hear the ad-libs, and you couldn't hear the verse. And I had to do something so you could hear the complete song, right? And one time with Somebody's Got to Die, we kind of let it go because we heard it was like a damn film in the background. So they took the time to act out everything Big was saying, right? And this is without the lyrics in there. And that's what made that so dope, because it was just a film was happening while the narrator was telling it. And it's all in audio form. But Ice Cube, for the most part, right? You got a couple of songs that do a little bit of that. For the most part, when you think about it, he's kind of like the Great Adventures of, right over here, the Great Adventures of Slick Rick. That album by Slick Rick was all storytelling. For the most part, even Mona Lisa, which feels like a flex kind of song, but it was a story also. I don't think people realize that Ice Cube's songs tend to be stories all the time also, because whereas and DJ EFN or whatever his name is, he wasn't doing a very good job of throwing. I didn't watch all of it. I watched the piece, so maybe he did. Let me take that back. But to me, the piece I saw where at least Yayo started naming stories from Biggie, DJ EFN wasn't. He was just saying no Vaseline. Yo, that's not a story. That's just a diss record. But Today Was a Good Day is a record. That's a story. That's a story you could put up against any Biggie joint, and you got to talk about it. right? Once Upon a Time in the Projects. Don't forget the other stories he wrote, which may not be that intricate, right? But for NWA, right? He has Death Certificate alone has so many joints. Okay, you talk about I got a story to tell. How about My Summer Vacation? See, this is the thing. I got a story to tell means I have a story to tell. And he tells the story, and it's funny, and it's even funnier that it's true, right? Not for Biggie, but for the individuals involved. But songs like, I was gonna say, "Is it good to you?" No. Today was a good day, right? My Summer Vacation, that record in particular, already in the title, plays off the fact that, or off of real life, where, and I don't know, because this never really happened in my school, so maybe this was in suburbs or whatever, but kids would come back from the summer and they would have to write like an essay on what they did for the summer and then recite or read that essay in front of the class. Ice Cube was doing that, but it was about drug dealer gangbang dudes going to another, not them gangbang dudes like in a gang. I'm not going to say pause, even though I just said it. Going out of town to take over another block. And some people would say, well, I mean, there's a drug deal story. But guess what? That's the thing. That's some people's summer vacation, right? You in front of the class telling your summer vacation, oh, we went to the beach, oh, we went to Disneyland, we did blah, blah, blah. This is what I did for the summer. You know what I'm saying? We in Seattle, shooting in snowy weather. I mean, there's so many stories. For Biggie too, Party and Bullish was a story also. I think they're kind of neck and neck and it's really close. So it's tough to say, yo, I pick Biggie over Ice Cube or Ice Cube over Biggie. I think Biggie is the better lyricist. I feel like Ice Cube's the better storyteller. And the lyricist part is close, but not that close. The storytelling part is like dead heat. It's definitely neck and neck and it's close. And it's hard to say who's better. Even me saying I feel like Ice Cube is better makes me think more about Biggie stories. And then I start to say, well, was it better than that? It's better than Warning. So nevertheless, it's debatable. It's subjective. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their favorites. I just chose one. But obviously, these are two of my favorite rappers. Ice Cube is in my top 5 favorites. Biggie may be number 1, but guess who's number 2? Ice Cube. So, what do you think? Who's the better storyteller, Ice Cube or Biggie? Notorious B.I.G. for those who didn't arrive, until Shiny Suit era. It's all good. We call him Biggie, though. Brooklyn, what up? What do you think? Who's better? Who's the better storyteller? Also, are you excited for new Tupac, new but old Tupac songs? I don't know. What about the mixtape documentary? Are you going to check that out? Do you have Paramount Plus? Or do you have a Fire Stick like I do? Leave your comments in the comment section below. That's going to do it for me. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Threads, and Spill, at Vegas World INC. And please know that the audio version of this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. All you have to do is search, type in the words Hip Hop Now Podcast, subscribe, and stay locked into weekly content. And if you're not already watching, this podcast is also available in video form. Same name on YouTube. Subscribe, like if you like it, comment if you got some things to say, but most importantly, share it with people you know enjoy this kind of content. Until next time, y'all, I'm not a critic, I'm a fan. Peace.